What's up, my little tattletales? How y'all doing today? Well, if you are Peter Thompson, you have lost your ever-loving mind, along with bar one, all your money, and everything else. Y'all listen. Cynthia Bailey is looking good, maxing, chillaxing, chilling all cool outside the pool in Lake Bailey. And Peter Thompson has literally turned to anti-blackness. Now listen, those of us that know, Peter was always on that time. Remember when Peter said that black women shouldn't wear red lipstick or blonde hair, and then went in on them, then came back with a half decent excuse, and everybody was just like, oh, he was just playing? No, he wasn't. Get this. This is directly from the Baltimore Banner, right? Written by Christina Takacic, T-E-K-A-C-I-K. All right, Christina, let's say Takacic. The dish. Peter Thomas insults black Baltimoreans and blames city's problems for bar one closure. Peter is a scourge. To think that all those women were sitting across. If you don't watch the Real Housewives of Potomac, you don't need to, because they've completely lost the plot. They've turned into Bad Girls Club. But there was a scene where Miss Wendy Osefo was on the show. And she is a doctor, I think first black professor at St. John's University. She's a big deal, right? She walk it like she talk it. Wendy was at a table. She was supposed to do business with Peter, okay? Because Peter had one hotspot he opened. That's what all Peter stuff. It looks good for the first couple of months, and then you see whatever. So Wendy was going to do business. Peter told her, if we go into business, you can't have any say. You can't do this. You can't do that. Just drop me a $250,000 and leave it. So Wendy was like, maybe. So anyway, right? They would, because Wendy is like, well, I don't really want to do anything. So let's see. So then she is like, yo, I need that money when they sent the contract. And Wendy was like, well, before I sign any contract, I want to walk through the location that the restaurant's actually going to be in. I want to do a walkthrough. Everybody laughed at Wendy. Ooh, what, you broke? You broke? And I was like, Wendy is the one being an astute businesswoman. Who's going to sign on the dotted line with Peter Thomas? And all the girls from Real Housewives, well, not all of them, but most of them are like, you broke, you broke, you broke. That's how you could tell who the real broke ones was that never did a business deal in their life, right? Anyway, right? Let's get into this article. They said, Peter Thomas says none of this is his fault. They said Bar One, the Harbor East restaurant he opened in 2021, is closed because employees stole from the business. This is what Peter said. Peter told the Baltimore Banner that the alleged stealing led to a drop in revenue without offering evidence. Peter claimed that the drop is the reason he stopped paying the company's bills, including its vendors, employee wages, rent, and taxes. How are they? First of all, I don't know about you, but since the panini bread spread all across America, who pays in cash anymore? I'm willing to bet 70% of your sales are in credit cards. So how are the employees stealing? This already sounds like a lie for anybody that has one iota of business sense or ever worked in the industry. Fortunately for us, right? These people are not the Real Housewives of Atlanta producers, and they're getting to the bottom of it. Christina goes on to say, by the time the lounge shut down in May, we weren't making money to cover payroll, said Peter. So he's saying that not just one, but all the employees are stealing, and that's why he can't cover payroll, but he has no proof of this. Sounds like another Peter Thomas lie. Anyway, right? Now he's facing litigation from 2 vendors, plus one former customer who say they're collectively owed more than $50,000. The Maryland's comptroller's office confirmed that Bar One has still not paid more than $80,000 in taxes it owes the state, a debt that led to the suspension of its liquor license. Peter said he wasn't paid a $38,000 a month rent on the property a month. Sorry. So Peter hasn't even paid rent on that place. Peter is a con artist scam man. I don't know how he keeps getting people, because the way he tried to con Wendy, and Wendy was like, yeah, I'll get back to you. It lets you know something. Anyway, right? An ex-employee said he and others walked off the job around Mother's Day after going weeks without wages. They said nobody got paid, so nobody came to work. Okay, Malik Joseph, the head chef of the restaurant, who said the establishment still owes him $4,000 in back wages. This is actually particularly disgusting because even though Peter's like, oh, people are stealing from me, which obviously is a lie, It's actually really, really disgusting because 4,000 is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. You're working all that. That is like your rent money. The fact that Peter had these people working, the fact that he was taking all the profits because he wasn't paying anybody, and then had the nerve to say, I can't pay y'all because people are stealing. And everybody said, who? And he said, Zorks, and ran. Anyway, right? They said despite Bar One's closure of more than 2 months, Peter in late June expressed confidence he would soon repay his debts, find an entirely new staff for the restaurant, and reopen. You can do that, but are you going to pay the old ones? And until at least mid-July, the lounge continued to accept reservations on open table to the seeming frustration of diners who wrote on the site about arriving to find the lights turned off and chair cushions stacked by the front door. Peter said his Baltimore landlord, Harvard East Management, still want to work out a deal with us. People are not running to open restaurants right now. The landlord refused to comment. Peter and his brother, business partner Earl, own other ventures, including Bar One Miami. Is that still open? Not for long. And said they'll cover the debts of Bar One Baltimore. We have to borrow from Paul to pay Peter. But Paul also appears to be in trouble. He's facing legal and financial problems at Bar One Miami that echo his issues in Maryland. His Florida landlord has filed for eviction, alleging the restaurant owes more than $400K in rent. Thomas's Miami location claims all the rent owed has been paid. Employees there have posted on social media complaint about not receiving wages. 2 vendors have taken Bar One Miami to court this year for allegedly failing to pay invoices on food distribution. Now, both cases are open. The lounge hasn't responded to any claims. They don't have money for a lawyer. They're not responding. But you guys know the one in North Carolina closed for $200K in unpaid taxes. And as of 2021, the company still owes about $85,700 according to federal tax liens. Now, here's the funny part, right? Okay, so they owe even more money. Like there's 45,000 they owe to one person, 5,000 to another. They write in bad checks. It's a whole mess. But get this. During an interview with the Banner in June to discuss the situation of his restaurant, Peter spoke scornfully of the city where he was doing business and said that the murder rate and vacant housing problem demonstrate there's a problem from within. His disdain extended to its Black residents, including many who work for him. There's a difference between African Americans in Baltimore City and African Americans in Washington, D.C. They're much more cosmopolitan. How do you go to a city, don't pay anyone, have people working for free, lying to them, do all that mess, and now you're talking trash saying that it's the murder poverty rate? Okay, isn't that what he said about the people in Miami? Black people don't want to support other Black people doing big things. They said such talk was familiar to Chef Joseph, who said Peter wasn't afraid to insult the city in front of staff. They said he'll insult Baltimore while he's in the Baltimore location. He'll insult Baltimore's work ethic while in a meeting with nothing but Baltimore workers. Mind you, the work ethic was people being like, why are we working for free? On his Instagram page, Peter has said racist generalizations about Black workers and investors to his almost 800,000 followers. He said Black people, when they work for Black people, they never respect it. They're so effing conditioned. Yet Peter said his goal as a business was to inspire. He told the Baltimore Banner that his interest in opening respite following a widely puzzling, well, it doesn't matter, a publicized incident in Ozo Bay, that's in Baltimore, in which a Black child was stopped from eating at a restaurant where a manager said the boy didn't meet the eater's dress code. You guys, yeah, listen, Peter once said Baltimore's the home of Harriet Tubman. There hasn't been one Black restaurant on the waterfront in the history of the city. And to think that con artist was the one that got it. Don't you hate that? Listen, all I want to say is, he then added that he had great respect for Ozo Bay's owner. That's the guy that banned the Black person, saying if it weren't for Alex Smith, y'all wouldn't have ish in this city. Well, we all know it's not because of Peter Thomas. Listen, right? All I gotta say is he was robbing a server, same thing he was doing in Atlanta and Miami and North Carolina and whoever. Most people were never even paid. Y'all, this is sick. He alleged that workers have been stealing food and cash from the restaurant, which led to his financial problems. Workers stole almost $2 million in food and cash while you were there every single night, Peter. Well, Peter is a workup. He said employees operated on a hookup system, getting out freebies to friends. While Peter conceded he never caught anybody stealing from the restaurant, he said customers observed bartenders pocketing money. You mean their tips? The restaurant cash revenue dropped precipitously over time, with overall monthly revenue declining from more than $300,000 to less than half of that amount. But you said that it was making $150,000 a month still. So where you weren't paying anyone, even your employees. So where was the money going, Peter? Asked if he considered calling the police over the alleged thefts, Peter said he not, because after experiencing thefts at his Miami restaurant, he called the police, but they were unable to address the issue. He said he recalled Peter complaining about employee thefts there at a time when workers regularly went without pay. She regularly noticed discrepancies in the restaurant's accounts. When she went to view closeout receipts, money was missing. At the same time, employees complained to her that they hadn't received their paychecks and their checks had bounced. Yeah, it sounds like Peter was the one actually stealing from his own restaurant and pocketing all the legit profits and blaming them on the employees and doing everything a good con artist does. Y'all, are you buying this? Listen, Peter is a mess. And anyone that would ever follow or believe in him is a fool. You've been warned. All you gotta do is do a simple Google search on Peter Thomas. You've been warned. Anyway, y'all, let me know what y'all think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.